get up and dash 100 meters and I would eat up the competition. It's just non-existent. I kick my feet up. Thought I was passing till I got blasted.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries, where we discuss AEW Rampage from November the 5th, 2021. Let's get right into the show. No preamble. Let's just get right into this show, man. This show is frustrating me. Bryan Danielson defeats Anthony Bowens. Why did this match happen? Because the Acclaimed have been getting on Tony Khan's nerve. So apparently, Bryan Danielson is a weapon that he's using against the Acclaimed. And then not even against a good member of the Acclaimed. He's wrestling the other guy. And this match was about 10 minutes, maybe 12 or something like that. It took Bryan Danielson forever to beat this guy. Then we had, of course, the rap, which featured all of your favorite WWE digs. Stuff about Bryan Danielson being a vegan, cucumbers and eggs or something like that. Told him to eat an egg or something. Says that he's only known for his wife's reality show, which of course makes no sense. The guy he main evented WrestleMania. Come on. The final thing is that the Acclaimed ends careers quicker than his father-in-law, which of course is John Laurinaitis. So they got all their WWE digs in, and then these guys decided to wrestle. I don't take Max Caster seriously anymore. I don't like the rap stuff anyway, but just since he came back from that little suspension or 30-day disappearance or whatever it was that we want to call it, I don't take anything that they do seriously anymore. Because Tony Khan had to expose them to such a degree in order to get people to get over what they said. He had to backtrack and say, oh, how terrible it was, how awful it was, and then all this contrition, all these apologies, and his assurances that these guys will never do anything like that ever again. They will never do anything even remotely edgy ever again. So it's like everything they say is going to be safe as hell. You know, you talk about John Laurinaitis, talk about him being a vegan, and talking about the Bella Twins. Okay, cool. And then they went out there and had this match, which just, I don't know. Bryan Danielson wrestled on Dark. And now he's wrestling this random guy on like 2 days' notice on Dynamite. I told you guys, Bryan Danielson is Kane from Kung Fu. He's Ryu from Street Fighter. He's just walking around trying to find the best match. He's just wrestling whoever they put in front of him, man. Whether it's Anthony Bowens or Aaron Solo or Eddie Kingston or Moxley or whoever they put on the other side of the ring, Bryan Danielson is going to wrestle him. He doesn't care about the value that he's bringing to the show, or they don't care about keeping his appearances special and making his matches matter, getting the most out of him. No, they're just like, we got Bryan Danielson, just use him. You know? Why not? Just use him. We're paying the guy to be there. Let's just use him. You're going to use him on everything. You're going to treat this motherfucker like hot sauce. You're going to put him on everything. He's going to be on Dark Elevation. We're going to do a pre-show to Rampage. He's going to be on that. He's going to be on our pay-per-views. He's going to be everywhere. Problem with that is that once people start to see that you don't see Bryan Danielson as being anything special, they're going to not see him as being special. Perception is reality. The main event, same thing. I want to talk about the main event too, because I wanted to spend a lot of time on CM Punk and Eddie Kingston, which was the only good thing on this show, as far as I'm concerned. The same thing here. You had Adam Cole being made fun of by a job guy. This job guy got a hell of a sense of humor. I was dressed as Bambi and I beat you guys up. Where was all that fire Adam Cole had for Karrion Kross? Where was all that mouth that he had for Karrion Kross when he had WWE behind him? He just let fucking John Silver diss him and shit all over him in this promo segment. He embarrassed Adam Cole. You know, he was talking over him. Adam Cole didn't have anything to say other than, that was a fluke. Tonight, I'm going to show you that Adam Cole is one of the best in the world. I'm like, get this generic bullshit out of here. Why didn't you tear this midget up? Why didn't you rip this midget? I don't know, man. I had to throw my hands up. I was so fresh. I was so goddamn frustrated. I'm frustrated by this match even being made. The Adam Cole versus John Silver. This match shouldn't even been put together. This is a match where, if we're being honest, John Silver shouldn't have even been cutting promos at Adam Cole. That's even already a violation. He shouldn't even be talking to Adam Cole. They shouldn't even be sharing a locker room. They shouldn't be on the ramp together. There should be, under no circumstances, where Adam Cole, who is supposed to be a star and supposed to be positioned as being a star, is not knocking John Silver on his ass. This entire match was John Silver. Adam Cole was selling the whole match. Gave him numerous big 2 counts. And of course, the Young Bucks did the kissing spot outside the ring because the referee doesn't bother to count, so it doesn't matter. This match was so frustrating. The stupid budge chants, the stupid budge signs. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. And I just kept saying to myself, WWE handed you these guys, and this is what you're doing with them. And then got the audacity to talk about, oh, the pandemic showed us who's doing appropriate storytelling. Like, yeah, I bet it is. Considering your ratings are going down. Even factoring in the pandemic, your ratings are going down. Whatever. You live in delusional land if you want to, Tony Khan. But we're in this situation now, man, where you have these red hot talent that they brought to you, handpicked, handed to you, and you basically just said, you know what I want to do with Adam Cole, this fresh new talent I got? I'm going to put him in a 15-minute match with John Silver. Oh, because we want to make John Silver look good. Why? Is John Silver somebody you're going to be pushing to the main event one day? Probably not. So then what difference does it make if Adam Cole beats him in 15 minutes or beats him in 3 minutes? Then beat him in 3 minutes. Save Adam Cole the bumps. There's only a certain number of bumps on his bump card. Why is he taking so many bumps? And then here's the crazy thing. John Silver is throwing Adam Cole around literally the exact same as Drew McIntyre was throwing around Ricochet on SmackDown. So he's just like, like a shot put. These dudes are the same size. Adam Cole is supposed to be a star. Why is John Silver looking so dominant and throwing him? It's not babyface out wrestling him either. It is John Silver is beating Adam Cole's ass. And I was just kind of like, man, this makes no sense. This does not make Adam Cole look good at all. Who cares if he won? It took him 15 minutes to beat a guy they didn't even consider putting in the tournament. They never considered him to do anything. He's not a top contender for any title. He's not in any type of storyline. He's just a tiny Oompa Loompa that people like on YouTube. And all of a sudden he gets to run 15 minutes with Adam Cole. Well, look, it's Booker of the Year's money. If he wants to fuck up his money and have this kind of situation going on where people start looking at that stuff and saying to themselves, I don't care about this. You have to understand, most people don't care about wrestling matches, even wrestling fans. They don't care about matches, right? That's the one thing that Vince Russo, when he said it hurt so many people, but it's true. I remain that wrestling matches matter. They do, but they have to matter. They have to be built up to, you know? People don't care about football games either. People don't care about basketball games either. That's why ESPN exists. They exist to tell you the story of the game, to get you excited for the game, you know? And this is what wrestling has to do it themselves. They have to sit down, and there is no ESPN that's going to sit down and talk about Raw or Dynamite or anything like that. They have to generate their own interest in a match. While the other mainstream sports have other avenues of ginning up interest in their fights and or matches. Generally speaking, people will sit through an entire football game and not give a shit about the game, period. People go to the games, spend money on hot dogs and concession stands, don't give a shit about the game. They just going to hang out. They just going because, you know, boyfriend wanted to go. Going because uncle wanted to go. Going because they want to take their son. Sometimes, there are a very few people who care so much about football games that they watch a bunch of them. A basketball game, they watch a bunch of them. Most people just watch their team and maybe one or two other teams, and that's it. You know, wrestling matches are the exact same way. Most people want to see a wrestling match, but if you keep it short, people will be more excited to see the next one. You have these long matches, people are going to be like, man, they're still in there doing this kicking and fighting and scratching stuff. Like, I don't get it. See, somebody like me, I can appreciate a longer match. But it has to make sense. A longer match between stars makes sense. Adam Cole going 15 minutes or whatever with John Silver is fucking stupid. Because I know, from looking at how Tony Khan has booked John Silver up to this point, he's not going anywhere. Just like, Alan Five Angels. Oh, Kenny Omega has a hard time beating Alan Five Angels. Why? What does he do that makes him so different? That Kenny Omega, world champion, just can't squash this fucking guy. There's no story there. You're trying to make one. It's like I forgot about this thing. Oh, well, I'm going to go back to it. Yeah, eventually, I guess. This is silly. And then the Red Velvet Jade Cargill thing. Again, how many times is Red Velvet and Jade Cargill going to have matches? It seems like this is the new Brett and Shawn. They're going to be fighting every fucking week now. It's like every time Jade Cargill has a match, Red Velvet ain't too far behind. She literally going to achieve a lot while doing very little to nothing. And it's going to be very strange, man. Very, very strange. This episode of episode of Rampage, man, it really frustrated the hell out of me. Because you see the potential for good stuff here. But it's only the major players that are producing anything good. Everybody else is getting shit on. You see Jungle Boy, Christian, these guys challenged the Super Click to a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I shrugged, whatever. I think we should have probably had Jungle Boy, Adam Cole too, instead of having this thing. But they like their 6-man tags. They enjoy that. All right, so let's talk about the what we're all here to discuss. The Eddie Kingston CM Punk promo, which was the best thing CM Punk has done in a long, long time. Best thing he's done on AEW TV since his debut. So CM Punk is in the ring, and Eddie Kingston no shows initially. CM Punk then starts talking about how Eddie Kingston is rude and complained that if he keep talking, then Eddie Kingston will eventually come out there, which he does. Eddie Kingston comes out without a theme song, no pyro, no nothing. Then he says, "Oh, you want an apology?" And then CM Punk is like, "I'm not the bad guy here, Eddie. Come on, Eddie." And then Eddie Kingston, because he has a complex that Eddie Kingston has to always censor himself in his promos. "I'm sorry that I thought I had COVID and I didn't want to give it to my friend Moxley and he passed it on to his kid. So I'm sorry I wasn't here." It's like, come on. That's bullshit. It's like when he cut that promo about Bryan Danielson. He's like, "I had to pop a Zoloft because I'm fighting depression." It's like he always got to add certain sympathies into his promo so that you can try to be disarmed by. It's like, nah, that's bullshit. you know what I'm saying? Like it's a neat trick that he does, but I noticed it. He always tried to make you feel bad for him, and then you're the one being outrageous by saying what you said to him because he's got a victim complex. You're coming after me after I have to take this Zoloft to cure my depression. You're coming after me after I thought I had COVID. That's why I wasn't here. Bullshit. So it was nice. It's good heel stuff, that's for sure. Eddie Kingston then said that CM Punk was a hero of his, but he realized that he's a low-life, two-faced, and that he judged him. Then he says, "I came into that locker room looking for brotherhood and got judged. For what? For being fat because I like to eat? Not making friends with the booker and kissing the booster's ass?" And I instantly was like, what are you talking about? And Nobody ever said the name of the company. I just assumed Ring of Honor. Then CM Punk was like, people actually started getting upset with Punk because he said, oh, he was judging Eddie Kingston. And then Punk's response was absolutely was ridiculous. It wasn't just me. Then he starts dry snitching. It was Samoa Joe. It was Daniel Bryan. it was everybody. Everybody was judging you. And he said, we held you to a higher standard, but that's not my fault for believing in you, for seeing potential in you. But I'm a fool for trying to hold you to that standard. You don't have any potential. You're a bum. And that's when I really got into this promo. He called Eddie Kingston a bum. I was really in now. Because this was the first flat out insult that Punk had thrown at him. That me, he called this man a bum. So Eddie Kingston was like, what a bum main event Full Gear. What a bum. Again, Eddie Kingston centers himself. I almost sold my house so that I could work here in the only pro wrestling company in the world. Because he's broke. So he had to center that victim mentality. It's always there. If you notice in Eddie Kingston promos, it's always there. The woe is me part of Eddie Kingston's character. Then he says that nobody wants you here. He said, get out. he told him to get out. And then it says he want to challenge him to a match at Full Gear. CM Punk said that he'll fight him, but he was thinking more like dark elevation, something that's more his speed. Now, Kingston is pissed at this point. Fight me, you coward. Fight me. Then CM Punk was like, all right, I'll fight you in Full Gear. Sure, whatever. Eddie Kingston was still fuming as Punk was walking away. He says, look, I don't care about wins and losses at Full Gear. I'm just going to beat you up. And I'm going to beat you up and do me a favor afterwards. Quit and go away for 7 years. And then they got to fighting. And this was really good. And they had to be separated by a bunch of referees and shit. Now, they based this whole thing on old beef between the two of them, which is, the long blood between the two of them. Okay, cool. But it seemed like they packed a lot into this one segment. So it wasn't a good story, because this was nothing but a lot of exposition. There was a lot of tell, don't show. They didn't show us anything. They just told us a lot. Showing, not telling. Would have been if there was heat between Kingston and CM Punk up to this point. And now we find out why they have heat. Over the time or whatever, we find out why they have heat, but we just show that they have heat with each other. Maybe they're in the ring and, Eddie Kingston skips some handshakes, which, he kind of skipped that handshake with Bryan Danielson. And people think to themselves like, oh, okay, well, it was because Danielson was, beat him and now he's frustrated, which is, that's part of the character, part of the story. But it's also that he knows that Danielson was judging him when he was, up and coming in Ring of Honor or whatever that show was that they were on. Angle exists, and it's a good angle. I'm not going to knock them for that, but I think a longer form story would have been invented to show us from the beginning that they have heat, and they kind of avoided each other, and then at that Rampage, because Kingston was pissed, he decided to say his piece at Punk, no longer biting his tongue around him or trying to avoid him or anything like that. Now he's going to go after him head up. That would have been showing, not telling. What they did was an info dump. That these two guys are working together, or they worked together at one point. Eddie Kingston was looking up to CM Punk. Then CM Punk kind of rebuffed him. Thought that he wasn't living up to his potential, judging him. He wasn't working out. He wasn't making friends. He wasn't doing all this kind of stuff. And Eddie Kingston took that the wrong way. And instead of stepping up to their level, or the level that they wanted him to be on, he went rogue. He flew off the handle, and it took him for a longer amount of time to become successful. And that's a good story. But we were told that and not shown that. It was just an info dump because the matches is next week. So it's an info dump. We only got one opportunity to build this match. They did a good job of it. But again, it was just giant blotches of exposition, which is bad storytelling. To tell everything just so we can get to the fight scene. Instead of, you still had 2 weeks, if they'd have said, if Tony Khan really booked long term like he says he did, then he would have known he was going with Eddie Kingston and CM Punk at Full Gear. Therefore, he could have started this story over a month ago. He could have started this story right after CM Punk debuted. He could have been telling people like, yeah, that's CM Punk. Yeah, don't buy into everything that he says that he is. He trust me, he's not the guy you think he is. And him saying little stuff like that, and then CM Punk be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he drops the dime, like, remember when we worked at yada, 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 and I looked up to you, and this is how you treated me. That's why I said, you can't be trusted. You're two-faced. You're a liar. But we already know CM Punk is two-faced and he's a liar. We already know that. So it was almost like he told the truth and shamed the devil. And it was okay. And Punk's comebacks weren't very good, but it was all about Eddie Kingston here. Let Eddie Kingston do what Eddie Kingston does, and he'll get you to the match. And he did it. He worked a miracle on this joint, because CM Punk was, he was okay. He wasn't awful, but he didn't really have much in the way of a response to Eddie Kingston. And it seemed like he did kind of feel ambushed, which is a good thing. You want to be taken by surprise by this kind of stuff. And Eddie Kingston's character is one that is, he has that woe is me victim complex. He also holds grudges. And that's another good character trait for Kingston, is that when he was feuding with Moxley, is because he felt Moxley left him behind to go join the WWE and make all that money, and was being phony and being fake. And now he's pulling that same card with CM Punk, just in a different way, which is cool. Character consistency is a good thing, but this was the best thing on Rampage. I could have gone without the rest of this show. I'm very interested in what the ratings for this show was going to be, because 1, it was live. 2, they heavily promoted CM Punk. 3, they actually put Bryan Danielson wrestling on this show. So you had a show that was live that they put Danielson and Punk on. So I'm very interested in what they are going to do from a numbers perspective. And the angle was hot. Kingston and Punk was hot. The rest of this show, shove it up your ass. All right, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I was talking to you guys later.